Hello, everyone. It is Lou here from Click Love Grow, and today I'm chatting to the gorgeous Keziah Krikmann. Keziah, how are you going?
I'm great. How are you?
Very well, thank you.
Good.
Now, Keziah is a professional photographer based on the Sunshine Coast in Australia, and she shoots the most gorgeous weddings, families, maternity, and newborn photography sessions. She has been a Click Love Grow brand ambassador, a much loved member of our community as we've enjoyed watching her images over the years. And she was recently one of the hosts of our Click Love Grow online retreat, talking all about hero images. Kezia, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
One thing that people really resonated with was this idea of chasing emotion and not trends. Can you talk to us a little bit about that?
I think, I love trends and I love seeing what photography is doing at the time. But I also think that it's up to you how you interpret them. So if you see, a particular editing style that you really love, but it's not your vibe or how you normally shoot, you can get influenced, beautifully from the trends. But I think taking that and then incorporating that into your shoot so that you can produce something that resonates particularly with your clients and reminds them of what their current season is. Really, that's why we get photos, isn't it? We want to remember, the feel of their hands in ours at this size or at this age, or, let's say we've got adult kids. We want to remember how it felt to have their arms wrapped around us. So we're trying to capture memories for people. And I know, like, that's a term that's used a lot, like memory catchers and all that kind of stuff. And I think it's beautiful. It is a little overused, but at the same time, that's what we're doing. We're trying to preserve how it felt right now for our clients, whether that's with a newborn or whether that's in their season of pregnancy, or if it's how they felt on their wedding day, right? We are chasing how it felt. And I think when you have relaxed clients who are happy to show you that side of their emotions and that side of their vulnerability, I feel like that resonates longer than a trend. Really, that's the core of it. We want to create beautiful art, but trends are visual, aren't they?
That's so true. And the aesthetic really goes hand in hand with how the people are feeling in that moment. And, oftentimes I'm talking to photographers who don't feel a lot of confidence in their work, or they're a little uncertain about their technical skills. But I think at the end of the day, when you're providing photography as a service for someone, it's not just the photos, it's the moments that you've created. And then when they look at their photos, they're not judging your technical skills. They're
Not
remembering how they felt in that moment, and they're seeing memories captured that they wouldn't otherwise have.
That's it. They're trusting us to know our craft,
Yes.
and it's just a case of they don't know what they don't know. They just remember what you gave them, and they recall that experience that you provided.
So one thing I really love your work is the obvious attention to detail that you bring to your images, and I feel like that's why they feel so powerful and have such a impact. Can you walk us through, this idea of paying attention to detail and what involves creating that?
I feel like the preparation side of a shoot is really undervalued as photographers. I think that so much of your own confidence when you go into a session is really done in all the work prior to. So when you go into a shoot with a really clear vision of what you're trying to achieve, you can really look for those moments to bring out that voice that you want to speak in that session. So whether that's coming up with inspiration boards or having the questionnaires that you put together to, get to know your clients, getting to know their vision for what they'd like to achieve in the session. I think that all really goes hand in hand then with actual execution of the shoot, which then gives you a lot more confidence in what you're chasing, what you're looking for, and really just, yeah, those moments of what you're going to slow down and hunt for in your moment, in your shoot process, to really bring that out. But I think that the details in those moments that you find, they speak to you when you do slow down. So I think that that's something that oftentimes it really does depend on the shoot type, but if you have the opportunity to go slower, that's really when you can hunt for those moments and really capture them beautifully.
Yeah, so being really intentional, I guess, with what you're bringing into the session. And we spoke about this a little bit before off camera about this idea that, being intentional, slowing down in a session, pausing before you shoot is such a beautiful idea and a great way to approach a session, but it doesn't necessarily work for every single type of session. Talk to us about that.
No, it really doesn't work in every shoot. I definitely find that you get more time when you're shooting like a maternity or something that's got less people. I did a shoot just recently with 5 kids and the 2 parents, and it was at the beach, and the kids are really young, and it was a lot. So there were far fewer moments to be able to pause and slow down because I was rapid firing most of the interactions of that afternoon. But what I did do, and it's actually the client was another photographer herself. So during her shoot, I pulled out the inspiration that we had chatted about 3 weeks ago, and she even said, "Oh, I really need to remember to do that more often." Because I said, "Well, you said you wanted to get shots like this, or you wanted to create moments like this. So let's do that in amongst the chaos and just see what we can try to get." But it's that kind of preparation that then meant that we were able to produce images that in her sneak peeks she's in love with them already. But yeah, in amongst the chaos, you can still pull it back a little and ground yourself back to what you actually are setting out to achieve.
Yeah, I think that's such a valuable process as a photographer to build that into your sessions. But like you said, having those conversations and I guess having really clear communications with your clients in the lead up to your sessions is something really valuable.
I totally agree. I think when you speak, like as creatives, we're all creative, right? We're visual people. And there's so much that can be said just in an image or in an inspiration board that we might not be able to articulate verbally. But if you've got a direction that you can really easily show someone that you want to go, half your job's done. So if they're on board with it, you can just pursue that avenue and, create a really beautiful shoot together.
Yeah, I love that. And with the hero images, you've talked before about that being a storytelling tool in your sessions, that you're creating these powerful images that tell a story because you really are about the emotion in an image. Can you talk a little bit about creating those moments to bring out emotions and also allowing your clients to really feel like they can let themselves go, like they can trust the moment? Because there must be a process that's involved with that as well.
I feel like those really emotional shots, they do come out of those quiet moments. So if you can sort of pare back a really chaotic family session, or if it is, a newborn moment, just creating a really peaceful, even if it's one little setup, just go, okay, I just want you to breathe in. I just want you to sniff your baby, or I want you just to snuggle in and just smell your little boy's ear, or whatever it might be, just to create those little pauses, particularly for parents. Parents can often get a bit stressed in shoots, if their kids are running amok or whatever. So if you can bring a little bit of calm to them by not getting riled up as well and feeling frantic, if they can get that sense of confidence from you that you've got it, and don't worry guys, like your kids can go and do backflips off the sand dunes, that's fine, we're not going to look at them, we're just going to create this quiet little moment here together. That's where that emotion comes out. So it's not always the quiet, really deep emotive shots that you want to create. Like you want the genuine laughter, and you want the fun, and you want the authentic interactions together. So that comes with practice. It comes with preparation. It comes with just confidence of going, okay, I want you to, cast your eyes over to the sea, and then tell the kids, try to spot mermaids, and they get all really curious and they try to find them. But in those moments, that you're watching their faces and you're capturing those little moments of their expressions. You don't care about mermaids. You want their interaction. So if you know that you just want to get a couple of those really close-up shots, just create those moments in your prompts. And then I find as well that you can create them in your editing too. So whether it's a really bright day, or if you're shooting golden hour, depends how you want to edit. So for me, I really like to lean into my shadows. I love the highlights, but the light and bright photography is not my style. I love it, but it's just not my creative output. So yeah, I do lean into those shadows, and I like, healthy blacks, and, I feel like that just creates a moodier kind of shot, which then just has a bit more emotion to it. So it's not all about your shooting. It does have a lot of your editing as well. So how you edit a shot can also communicate an image, or a story through your imagery. So yeah, it's an all-encompassing process.
But that preparation, I think, like you said, it's something that potentially is overlooked a lot when it comes to photographers. So being able to hear about those processes and get some tools for being able to prepare for a shoot is really powerful. But it also sounds too like the energy that you bring to a session is also really important.
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, I love a chat. I love to play. I love to have fun. But I think if your clients know that you're in control and that you have a plan, they'll do what you ask them to. They'll relax with you. Keep really conversational. Just ask them what they did last weekend, or what's the best restaurant they've been to lately. Keep it really conversational and really friendly, and people just relax. And that's then a great foundation for creating a good shoot, because if you've got relaxed clients or subjects, that's when you can actually get their proper emotions and their proper connections. And yeah, a lot of it has to do with just relationship. So if you feel like a friend, then when you pull out that big camera, you're not a threat. So yeah.
Yeah, I think that's really beautiful. And in saying all of that, you do create really beautiful, gorgeous shots that your clients must just love seeing. And I'd just love to ask, Keziah, like, what really inspires you as a photographer?
I think a lot of my inspiration comes from editorial photography. My career is mostly in fashion design, and so a lot of my time was spent researching trends and just learning visual imagery, and then converting it into clothing. But that was back then, not anymore. And I think that that really beautiful editorial photography does influence my shooting and my editing these days. I just feel like they are, gorgeous imagery that, depending on what it is either trying to sell something or, is trying to convey a beautiful model in whatever way. But there are techniques that we can take from those genres and implement into family photography. Yeah. So I think that there's a lot of weight given to crossing genres. Just because you're a family photographer doesn't mean that you can't be influenced from other things. And so a lot of my drive is probably mostly from the editorial world.
Yeah, I can really see that come through in your work, and I think it's so gorgeous. And what you say about, crossing genres is such a fantastic inspiration, really, as photographers. Instead of feeling like, well, a family photographer, I should really only take inspiration from here, or I'm this style, so I need to stick with this. There's so much like potential creatively when we look outside of what we're normally seeing. And so inside your workshop, you're going to be walking people through, how to create those heroes images. What can people look forward to in the workshop?
I will be walking you through my entire process. So I'll show you where I find inspiration, how I catalog it so that I can find it again. I'll be showing you different techniques of where and how and what inspires me, as well as some of the storyboards that I've produced in the past before a session. So you see some of that before and after inspiration compared to the shoot. And then I'll actually be breaking down some key images for you to show you the inspiration where it was born. I'll show you some of the behind the scenes that I captured during the shoot, and then I'll break down the image and how I've edited as well. So yes. We've got a lot coming for you. It'll be a lot of fun.
It will be a lot of fun. It's always great to come together in a group. I think that's one of the best things about our creative workshops is not only, do we have the opportunity to hang out with you as the workshop host and mentor, but you also get to see how everyone else takes these ideas and puts them into action. And there's that lovely accountability that comes along with learning together as well. So before we finished, who do you think this workshop is perfect for, Keziah?
I feel like this is perfect for anyone who just wants to stretch themselves creatively. So it doesn't have to be for client work. This can be purely for your own creative venture. But I'm just going to be giving a few tips and tricks for anyone who just wants to expand and flex that creative muscle and have a bit of fun in the process.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to this. And before we finish, I do have some rapid fire questions for you, Keziah. So you can let me know. Would you get up for a sunrise shoot or sleep in?
Naturally sleep in. Sunrise is always worth it. Like, I love them, but I am not an early bird.
No, I feel like this season of life with small kids, everyone's saying this, they'll take the sleep
I'll
in.
take the sleep in. Yeah.
Shooting or editing, which one do you love more?
I think shooting. I love the people facing side of it. I mean, editing's great, and I'm a real introvert, so I love that time by myself. But shooting and being there with the families or with the client, with the pregnant mum or with the couple that's getting married, nothing beats it. It's great.
Love it.
Yeah.
Do you have a go-to song or playlist when you are editing?
I've actually been playing movies on Netflix in the background lately. So I've been going through my favorite musicals. So Wicked's been on a few times. I think I just had A Star Is Born, like anything that has a good soundtrack to it. I love that in the background while I'm editing.
Perfect. 35 mil or a 135 mil?
Oh, it depends what I'm shooting. That's tricky. I would probably say 35, purely because that's the one that I've used more. Um, but yeah, it depends what I'm shooting. That's tricky.
Do you have photos on the wall? Are you a printer or do they stay mostly on your phone?
With the amount of images that I shoot, most are on my phone, but I'm getting better at printing. So I'm starting to get photos of the kids around the place and getting the photo books. They love spending time flipping through the photo books. But yes, I definitely need to get better at printing more.
I think we're all guilty of that. Do you have a session or a photo, that you've taken in the past that still gives you goosebumps?
Yes, I would say a few, and some of them I will be talking about in the workshop. So it'll be really lovely to revisit them actually, and I've got to go back through some very old catalogs to re-edit for you, show you how I edited them. But yeah, there are definitely some images that I still am really proud of. I think the one that I talked about in the retreat, the mum with the hat.
Beautiful.
Love that one. There's another image that I will be discussing, which was my rainy day shoot. I don't know if you remember that one. So that mum I've photographed a few times, and I just feel like we get so much gold every time we shoot together. So there are definitely shots along the way that still resonate that I love to revisit and probably put on my wall if I had more wall space.
I love it. Well, Keziah, thank you so, so much for joining us and chatting with us today. I can't wait to see, everyone being able to take on board your lessons and what they shared during the workshop. But thank you very much.
Thanks for having me. I can't wait to host them on my workshop.
Bye.
Bye.